Now, internally generated intangible assets, a very important part of IAS 38. You see, businesses, large businesses, they spend a lot of money, hundreds of millions of dollars in developing new products or in developing, how to say, new technologies. I don't have a very latest information, but I can still quote you an old information which still is in my mind. Um, in 2005, so I'm speaking like 20 years ago, HP, they spent something like $3 billion on something which is called research and development. You see, businesses, where did they spend? In R&D. You see, businesses, they have marketing department, accounting department, they have sales department, production department, administrative department, and they have one more department which is called R&D department, research and development department. So the R&D department, research and development department, it is responsible for developing new products as well as improving the existing products. And they bring in new technologies. And they spend hundreds of millions and billions of dollars. I can tell you another number that in 2012, P&G, Procter and Gamble, they spent something like 7.6, if I'm not wrong, $1 billion. I'm not saying million, $1 billion. Why these companies are spending so much money? Because they are competing in the global market, and they remain, and they want to remain on the top. And they are the number one companies. That's why they bring in the best products, they improve the existing products. Now, you know that this data which I'm giving you, this is probably an old data. If you think about today's term in 2025, EVs, electric vehicles, China is bringing in, Tesla is investing money. You can see that SpaceX, they spend so much money on designing some technology about the rockets which they are sending to space. And not everybody can do that. So, I mean, there was some technology which they created. And to develop that technology, they literally spent probably billions of dollars. The same is happening, like, the big problem with electric vehicles was how to say, the battery itself, that how much mileage it can give. Because earlier, batteries were giving 150 kilometers, 200 kilometers, which were not enough. Now, batteries are giving 600 kilometers in one charge, 500 kilometers in one charge. So, how is this happening? How is this happening? This is happening because somebody is working on some new technologies of, designing EVs, designing batteries, and so on. The same happens with cell phones. Apple brings in some new technologies, Samsung brings in some new technology which others do not have. And that is why Apple and Samsung are number one. They are on the top because they bring in technology. And to bring that technology, there is a large team of engineers, scientists, designers, programmers, developers. It's a huge team. It's not a one person's job. Okay. So to stay on the top, you have to bring in a product which is better than everyone else, and you spend a lot of money. You spend literally hundreds of millions of dollars. And now, why these companies are spending this huge amounts of money? Because they believe that as a result of this expenditure, by spending this money, what can happen is that they will be able to develop some asset. It's a technology, so it's an intangible asset which they will use somehow later on to make more profits. So they say that's a cost or that's an asset. That's the question comes in. Remember always, whenever you spend any single dollar, whenever you spend money, this you've got only two choices. Either you can call it as your expense into your profit and loss account, or you can call it your capital expenditure, capex, and you take it to your statement of financial position and you call it your asset. Okay. There are only two things. Whenever you spend money, either it goes to your income statement as expenditure, or it goes to your balance sheet as your asset. Now, the question will arise here that we have spent $500 million in this year. $500 million in this year. What should we do with this $500 million? Should I take it as expenditure in my income statement, or should I call it as my asset in the balance sheet? If I call it as expenditure in the income statement, my profits will decrease. If I take them as an asset in the balance sheet, then my in my P&L profits are more. You will have more profits because if you treat them, if you take this $500 million as asset, so you're not taking it to your income statement, you take it to the balance sheet. So what will happen? Your assets will be more on the balance sheet and your profit will be more on the income statement. So the accounting treatment of this amount and this large amount spent is very important because a wrong accounting treatment will actually end up having an incorrect profit analysis and an incorrect balance sheet as well. So IAS 38 is very strict about this accounting treatment. We have to be careful that what part of this amount can we call expenditure, what part of this account can we call as an asset, and what are the conditions how to do that. This is the topic internally generated intangible assets. So we say that research and development, although research and development, we call it R&D, it is one department. It is one department in the business in reality. But for the sake of accounting purposes, we divide them into two parts. We say research is a separate thing, development is another thing. So research primarily, it is actually the process of acquiring knowledge. This is process of acquiring knowledge, original and planned investigation undertaken with the prospect of gaining new scientific or technical knowledge. So it is the first stage in which you get some knowledge. Development will be considered as the second stage. So it is application of the research findings. So whatever knowledge you will acquire here, you start using that knowledge. And that is where the development starts. So if they are thinking about sending a rocket to the space, first they will be thinking about technologies. They will be investigating what are the capacities and what can be done, what cannot be done. They are comparing different alternatives, and then they see the possibilities of using those alternatives and so on. So this is called the research phase. And once they agree that, okay, this is the best technology, or this is the way we should work, this is how it can be done, and now let's sit down and start making it. Let's sit down and start working on it, because we understand, we have calculated that if we use this thing, it will end up in having a successful product or in a successful technology. So let's start making it. This is where the development stage will start. This is where you say that you are now creating a product which you already have estimated that this is something which can be of value. So what we do, so these are the two stages. So recognition criteria to assess whether an internally generated intangible asset meets the IAS 38 recognition criteria, an entity classifies expenditure into the research phase and the development phase. So you have spent $500 million and you say this $200 million is for research and another $300 million is for development. So the total expenditure is split between research and development. Then we say that research expenditure by research activities by definition do not meet the criteria for recognition, because we say that research, when you are doing research, you are not sure how this process is going to end up, and you are not sure whether this project will be successful or not. So probable future economic benefits are not sure in the research stage, which is this first stage. You are thinking, planning, investigating to do something, and you are not sure whether you will be successful or not. And therefore, any expense which you incurred in the research stage, that will go straight to your profit and loss account. This will straight go to profit and loss account as your expense for the period. There is no other option. So all the expenditure which you classify as research expenditure or which was spent during the research phase. So this is my project. It is 12 months. In the first 7 months, I was working, investigating, and the last 5 months where I was actually making it. So this is the research phase where I was actually investigating what are the alternatives. And once I finalize and I find out that the project looks, it will have probable future economic benefit, I will be able to complete it, I will be able to make it. So here you call it development. So whatever money you spend in this phase, in the research phase, all of that money will be called expenditure in the statement of profit and loss. You take it there as expense. So research expenditure, activities aimed at obtaining new knowledge and evaluation and selection of the final application, search of alternatives, alternative material, devices, products, processes, etc., etc. So all of the research expenditure, without any question, goes to profit and loss account. You cannot call it an asset, because to call an asset, you should be, there should be probable future economic benefits. But when you were working on that, during that first 7 months, future economic benefits were not established. The probability was not there. So everything goes to profit and loss account as expense. In case of development, when the development begins, the development begins that you started your research, and a point comes in time when you think that, yes, I can make it. I have found this thing. So these are the technologies I'm going to use. These are the materials I'm going to use. This is how I'm going to create it. And I know that it will be sold. I know that I can complete it, I can sell it, I can use it, I can get benefit out of that. That is called development. So any money which you spend during the development phase, that can be capitalized. So whatever expenditure you make during the development phase, that may be capitalized. I'm not saying must be capitalized. I'm saying may be capitalized. Capitalized means that you can call it as your asset and you can take it to your statement of financial position as an intangible asset. And I repeat, I said that it may be capitalized. Why may? Because there are very strict conditions. IAS 38 will not allow you to, call something your asset very lightly or very conveniently. So there is a very strict quality. We say development cost may qualify for recognition as intangible asset, provided that the following strict pirate criteria can be demonstrated. So there are 6 conditions, and all of these 6 conditions should be met. All of these 6 conditions should be met. What are those 6 conditions? Number one, probable future economic benefits for the entity. We know that this is the first condition. In order to call it your asset, it should bring you, future economic benefits. Number two, intention to complete the intangible asset, intention to complete the asset or use it or sell it. Because if you do not have an intention to complete it, if you do not complete it, you cannot use it or you cannot sell it and you cannot get benefit. So number one, economic benefit should be there. Number two, the entity has an intention to complete it. Number three, resources, whether technical or financial, they should be available to complete it. For example, a project which requires, $10 million to develop, you've got only 3 million and you started the project. So what will happen with 3 million? Your $3 million will end very soon, and then you will sit down with an incomplete product in your hand, and if it is incomplete, you cannot get any benefit out of it. So it's very important that you should have resources, financial resources, technical resources, ability to use or sell it. Because if you do not have the ability to use it or sell it, then what can you do? How will you get benefit out of that? If you are designing the rockets, then you should be legally allowed to send the rockets into space. Otherwise, you will design a rocket and the government says you cannot send it legally. We don't allow you. You don't have a license to send it to space. So then everything is wasted. Why do you take it on balance sheet? If you take it on the balance sheet as an asset, it should bring you the benefit. And the benefit will only be there if you have ability to use it. Technical feasibility of the project. The project should be technically feasible, which means that It's not something which is redundant. This is not something which is obsolete. It is a technically sound product or project which would be, which will have some demand in the market. And finally, expenditure can be measured reliably. So if you pay attention that these are the two conditions which existed in all the assets, like probable future economic benefits, and the expenditure can be measured reliably. These two conditions were always there for all types of assets. These conditions are extra. These conditions are extra. And the purpose of putting such a strict criteria is now, any of these conditions are not met, if any of these conditions are not met, development expenditure will also go to income statement. So let's see like this. I've got my, let me just show you like this. If I spend 500 million and we say let's split it in research and development. So research expenditure is 200, development is 300. This research 200, it will straight go to your profit and loss account as your expenditure. This development 300, I'm not putting a straight line, I'm putting a dotted line. It can go to your statement of financial position as an asset, as an intangible asset, provided the six criteria, the six conditions are met. If those six conditions are not met, this development expenditure of 300, it will also go to P&L. So it means that throughout the IFRS, not only in this standard is very strict, but other standards are also very careful that if you want to take something on the balance sheet, you have to follow the conditions, because you cannot just, put some fake assets on the balance sheet and tell your shareholders we have got the assets. No, they should meet the definitions. And if you are starting some wrong projects which do not meet the criteria and you are wasting shareholders money, so then let this money come into the income statement as an expenditure and let the profits go down, and let the shareholders ask you, why did you start this project which was, not favorable, which was not possible, which was not appropriate. So development expenditures, research expenditures, they straight go to income statement without any question. Development expenditure, you can capitalize if you meet the six conditions. If any of these conditions are missed, this also goes into the statement of profit and loss account as your expenditure. Then we move here. This is the same thing. They are telling what is development. I already have spoken about it, so I'm not going to read from here. You can read it. Internally generated intangible assets, we said that we divide them. It's the same thing, but just a summary. You divide them into research and you divide them into development. Research will go to expense in the P&L straight away. Development expenditure, if it meets the Pirate criteria, all of them, if it meets it, then you call it your intangible asset in the balance sheet. If it does not meet, it also comes to the profit and loss account. So this is all with this internally generated asset.